I'm all in. I'm all in.
What's up, Limeheads? Welcome to another video interview here at Long Island Music and Entertainment. Today, our awesome guest is country pop sensation singer Carolyn Miller. Carolyn, thanks for joining us here at Long Island Music and Entertainment.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No problem. How are things going?
Everything's good. We're hanging in despite all the craziness of
Right.
the world, but, happy to be here. And, everyone luckily is healthy and okay on my side, so no complaints.
All right, so now tell us what part of Long Island that you are originally from.
Yeah, I'm from Massapequa, born and raised. So, been born and raised in Long Island my whole life. I actually went to Massapequa High School. And yeah, I split my time between here and Nashville, and I tour a lot. Obviously, with the pandemic, things are a bit slower these days. So I'm actually coming at you from my house in Massapequa. So I'm so excited to chat with you guys. I do a lot of media interviews and stuff, but talking to the Long Island crowd is the best because you guys are my people. So this is fun.
Go. Now, when you're on the road in Nashville or you're traveling around performing, what do you miss most about here on Long Island? Whether, it's a favorite spot, your family, your friends, what do you miss most?
A good bagel place and a good deli.
There you go. And we have some of the best of those places.
Oh my God. And it's something you take for granted just growing up here. And there's 10 delis in every town. There's bagel places on every corner, and you can get a quick sandwich, you get breakfast, whatever it is. And when you go out and you tour and you're in all these other cities, you forget that really good pizzerias and bagel places and delis are not really a thing. And so that's something that I miss, is just grabbing a bagel on the go or a good cold cut sandwich or something.
Well, here at Lime, we like to have people, plug away. So what is that favorite deli? What is that favorite bagel place that you like to visit, when you come back home?
Yeah, oh gosh, there's so many. I love Crazy Bagel, which is in Massapequa. I love Seaford Bagels. I love the bagel place in the Bar Harbor Shopping Center in Massapequa. Yeah. Pizza, love Soda Sopra, Gino's, Carmela's, the list goes on and on. I love them all.
Nice. All right. What age were you when you started singing?
Well, professionally or just singing?
Just singing.
Literally 3 weeks of age. My parents have videos, and they talk about how when I was a baby and they'd be rocking me to sleep, I'd be like la la la, and they would always joke and be like, this kid's gonna be a singer when she grows up, completely joking. And it's just crazy that all the signs were there when I was so little. And I was always putting on shows at family gatherings and parties and stuff, and I started then doing community theater when I was 6 years old. So I've been singing solos on a stage since I was 5 or 6, and it's honestly been from the moment I could just babble and make noise.
Nice. Now, when did you realize that singing was what you wanted to do as a career?
Literally from the time I was a child. I started working professionally when I was 8 years old. So, like I said, I started doing dance as a 3-year-old. I started doing community theater as 5 and 6. And by the time I was 8, I was signed with a manager and agent, and I was working professionally. I was voicing cartoon characters. I was singing in commercials and jingles. I was singing, national anthems and performing just, at a professional level all over from the time I was a kid. And so I always knew I wanted to go to school and major in the performing arts. I always knew this is what I was going to be doing. And I can remember being 9 years old, I found my diary and I wrote something of I'm going to be a singer when I grow up. And of course I'm going to go to school. I'm going to go to college for music and everything. And I remember being then in middle school and high school. And when the teachers would say, what are you going to do when you're older? Or what do you want to be? And I knew. And when other people just didn't know, I never could understand. I never could wrap my head around that people didn't always know. And right. So I always just knew from the time I was a kid, and it was there was never anything else on the table for me.
Cool. Now let's go back. You voiced a track for cartoon characters?
Yeah, I did a whole lot of voiceovers,
voiceovers,
commercials, okay. And cartoons and some movies. I did a lot of voice work.
Yeah, could you go into who you voiced for, cartoon wise and movies? Let's talk about that.
Yeah, sure. So I narrated a children's cartoon on PBS, and I did 52 episodes for that show, which was called Zula Patrol. And then I also the TV show Little Bear that was on Nickelodeon, Nick Jr. I voiced a lot of the singing jingles for the theme songs, and when they would have marathons, I would do that. A handful of movies I did some voiceover work for, which was like music and lyrics with Hugh Grant and Dan in Real Life with Steve Carell. The Christmas movie, it's called The Little Light on the Christmas Tree, which is our children's cartoon Christmas movie. I actually was the vocalist for the character Melissa. So Melissa was actually a different actor who did her speech parts, but then when the character in the movie had to sing, it was all my voice there. And then yeah, so that's just like
That's awesome.
little bit of yeah, a lot of fun things.
You have a lot under your belt already.
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Now, what about you? Some of your favorite artists or influences?
Yeah, I would say Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, Faith Hill, and Adele. Those four women are like, I want to sing every song they ever sing, everything they do. You know, I just love that they have these big, powerful voices. Their songs are so moving, timeless. You know, Adele hasn't put out new music in God knows how many years, but everyone still loves Adele and knows Adele songs, you know?
Right.
Faith Hill songs are still on the radio. Carrie Underwood has been a staple on the scene since 2004, 2005, and hasn't moved for the last 15 years. Same with Kelly Clarkson, since she won American Idol in 2002. I mean, she's never disappeared and just puts out hit after hit after hit after hit. And so I think there's just something so classic and timeless and strong about those women. And, you know, they've got big, powerful voices and something to say. And I love that about them, while they're also all mothers and entrepreneurs and authors and clothing designers and TV show hosts and award show hosts, and, you know, and also actresses in different ways and stuff. And so, you know, Adele's hosting SNL this week. Carrie Underwood, you know, Kelly Clarkson hosts her own TV show. Carrie Underwood, you know, did The Sound of Music on NBC. And so I love that they also have, you know, amazing careers in their own lanes, but then they also have branched out and done so many things across.
All right, so you might have some of the same answers as this next question, but if you could open up or perform with any artist, you know, who would you like to share the stage with?
Great question. I love Dan and Shay. So I would love to do something with them. Shay's, you know, I've actually met him a couple times before and had many conversations with him, and he's a fun guy, and his voice is also just so amazing. And so I think to get up and sing with him and open for them would be so great. I'm also a big Sam Hunt fan. I love his music. I would love to be direct support for him. I actually, this past December, I got a chance to perform at the Barclays Center as part of New York Country 94.7 Stars and Strings event. And Sam was one of the people on the lineup. And so I actually got to, you know, cross over with him a little bit there, but I'd love to like do an actual tour and do direct support with him. I think that'd just be like so fun.
Nice. Now we got to say congratulations, because your newest hit was recently played on 94.7, right?
It was played Wednesday night, 2 nights ago. It was
very cool.
Really, really cool. Super special moment to have that.
Was that your first song on radio?
No, I've been very lucky that I've had a good amount of my songs played on the radio, and a lot of wonderful stations have shared it and debuted it and played it. But this was my first time that it was on the hometown station.
Right.
So, you know, and it's funny, I've sung on 94.7 before. You know, last year they had a Christmas, it was like a St. Jude's marathon where they were raising money for kids with cancer and stuff. And so they actually had me come on air, and I sang a couple songs like live acoustic, which was fun. But this was the first time that I could just go into my car, turn on the dial, hear my song come on while I'm driving around in my hometown, and see my name on the dashboard, like with the radio logo. That was so there was something a little extra special about it, because every other time it's been on the radio, I've had to listen through like a desktop or listen through like my Alexa, which is still super cool, but it doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's still like, it's as if like I was going to my Spotify and playing it. You're like, I know this is on the radio, but you know, you're not experiencing it. But to finally get in the car, drive around, and you know, that station has been preset #1 on my car since as long as that station's been around. I mean, I listen to it regularly. I was listening to 94.7 before I recorded my first note ever as a country artist and released music. So like, to have that full circle moment where I'm driving, I'm like, this is happening. It was really cool.
Now, did you know that it was going to be played when you were in the car, or you were just in the car and it was came on?
No, I knew it was going to be played at that time. So I got to have a heads up, and I got to let like everyone know, which was really cool too. So, my parents got to hear it, all family and friends got to hear it. And then even like random people that like I went to high school with, or people, from Long Island that I know that I haven't maybe talked to in years, getting messages from them being like, "Oh my God, I just heard you on the radio," was like super cool. So it was really nice. I feel like I got to share that moment with so many people. So it was super special.
All right. So now, obviously you're a singer. Let's talk about, the albums, the songs. Tell us about, the history of your songs, what they're all about, what kind of artists, what kind of country artist Carolyn Miller is all about. So go ahead and
Yeah.
let's discuss.
I love it. So being from Long Island, born and raised, and you're a hop, skip, and a jump down the road from me right now, as we were chatting about. Country music wasn't always a big thing up here. It wasn't something that was always on our radios. We didn't always have country radio stations that were accessible to us. And so I didn't grow up with the traditional country sound of the fiddles and the banjos and the pedal steel and all that. So because those sounds are a bit foreign to me and they were never something that I was exposed to, I really was very conscious that as I was going into country music, that I wanted to stay true to myself and really organic with the sounds that I grew up with, but also still country, sticking to the storytelling and the honesty of the lyrics and the meat and bones of like a good song at its core, and it has something to say. But, I wanted to be careful with the instrumentation I was pulling in. So I feel like I have a lot of pop influences in my song and even some rock influences and the sounds that I really grew up on, and I grew up with NSYNC and Christina and Britney Spears, and,
Right.
I loved all that stuff. But my dad also used to blast AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, so I love with a little bit of like a kick and a punch. Also, New York pop heavy, Z100 I grew up listening to, so there are definitely some of those elements. So, I like to say I'm a city girl with a country heart, and very New York meets Nashville, city meets country, Carrie meets Kelly kind of thing. So it's been cool because what I found is that it's still country, and it's very it's great to see that like someone like me who's not from a farm in Oklahoma and didn't grow up necessarily with traditional country music is accepted into the country music community, and it definitely is country music, but there definitely still have then those pop influences from my background there. So yeah, for people who don't love country music, like a lot of people from, Long Island and the New York area who now they're catching on to it, but at first we're like, I hate country music. Oh, I have to come, I'm going to this girl's show. And then they leave being like, okay, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Everyone thinks it's going to be boots and cowboy hats, and country's so much more relaxed now. And so I find that people who don't necessarily like country music, traditional country music, still enjoy my stuff, but it's still country enough that it's accepted in the country music community. So it's kind of like a nice hybrid, I feel like, between the two worlds.
Okay. Your newest single. Tell us what that was all about.
Yeah, so the song is called All In, and it was written by three amazing songwriters down in Nashville. Jamie Moore, who wrote May We All for Florida Georgia Line, and he also wrote Chasing You, which is a big hit on the radio now for Morgan Wallen. Emily Landis, who wrote The Good Ones for Gabby Barrett, as well as recording artist Abby Anderson. And so I'm good friends with some of the publishing companies in Nashville, and they had heard this song and thought it would just be a great fit for me. So they actually sent it to me and said, hey, check this out. Like, I feel like you would kill this song, spend some time with it. And, at first I liked it, but it's so different that I was like, I don't know if it's the right fit for me or what I would want to do with it. So I had to spend a lot of time with it and put a lot of TLC into it with my producers and find a way that like honors the song and honors the writers, but then still make it my version of it and my spin on it. And so when I got the lyrics sent to me originally, some of the lyrics, just didn't totally, I want to sing something that's truthful and meaningful to me. And so there was a line in there like, I'm scared of failure ever since my parents split. And I was like, well, my fan base knows my parents aren't divorced. So if I start singing lines like that, there's going to be, a little bit of a disconnect. So I had emailed the writers and the publishers and I said, hey, are you okay if I change it? Like, and I say, since my heart was split, meaning like since my heart was broken. And so they all signed off on it. And so it was fun to like personalize the song a little bit, which doesn't always happen, but I feel very lucky I got to do it. So, yeah.
Very cool. So is that on a full album, or do you just have the single released?
Right now, I'm just doing singles. I have an EP that I released back in 2018 called Unbreakable, and all those songs, you can check them, on all music platforms. And then last year, I released 2 singles. This year so far, I've released 2 singles. I have another single that's in the pipeline that I'm hoping to release like beginning of January. I'm hoping to get to Nashville, COVID depending, in December to cut another full-length EP, which is all of songs I've actually personally written. And a lot of the fans know the songs because from quarantine, I've been doing so many live stream concerts. And so when it's just me and my piano, I try to always bring in fresh material and not do the same show every time. So the fans have gotten to know my original songs and have been saying, when are we going to get them? When can we download these songs? So I finally was like, all right, I gotta make an EP of this stuff. Hoping to do that in December for like a March, April release. And then I've got another great song to go at the start of this summer, which I think is going to be my biggest one yet. So I'm pretty pumped for that.
Well, you better give it to us so we could, we'll play it and promote it also. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, do you write songs also? Are you a writer?
I do a combination of cutting songs by incredible writers as well as doing my own songwriting. I come from, my background is I was an actress for so much of my life, so I'm used to getting a theater script, a film script, a TV script, where it's kind of like a black and white coloring book, and you're like, all right, put yourself into it, paint your picture, make it come alive. And so that's kind of what songs are like for me. When I get sent a song, I don't feel like I have to 100% do it. I think of it as kind of this like, it's the skeleton of it, but then it's up to you to like pull it to life and do that. And so I love doing that. As long as I can connect to the story and I relate to it, I'm all about cutting outside songs. But no, I also do write a lot. And for people who, come to my live shows or who are followers of me and, actively find my YouTube stuff or my live streams, there's a good combination of my originals in there too.
We are now at the part of the interview where we are calling it the Limelight. Limelight is sponsored by the Wrestling POV podcast. If you are a big wrestling fan, professional wrestling fan, you got to check them out. Wrestling POV is the best wrestling podcast show out there. So right now, Carolyn Miller, welcome to the Limelight. And please plug away, website, social media, where can we find more about you? Go ahead, Limelight is all yours.
Yeah, so everything for me is under Carolyn Miller Music. That's my hub for it all. So socials is at Carolyn Miller Music, CAROLYN Miller Music. That's my Instagram handle, Facebook, YouTube. My website is carolynmillermusic.com. So check it out there. Spotify, just search Carolyn Miller. Be sure to give me a follow. And yeah, you can find me all there.
Awesome. Now, if you are watching this interview, you know that next week here on Long Island and nationwide, but here on Long Island is especially big. We have a certain holiday coming up next week. It's end of October, October 31st. It is Halloween. And, Carolyn, you could probably, agree that Halloween here on Long Island is a big thing. A lot of people go out, parties, trick-or-treating, obviously. Any Halloween memories that you've had as a kid, whether favorite costume, best thing you did on Halloween, or maybe even like the worst thing you ever got when you went trick-or-treating? Any Halloween memories come out?
Ooh, Halloween memories. I don't know. I mean, I remember just as a kid, always right around Halloween, going to all the pumpkin farms with my family and doing the hay rides and like the ghost rides and stuff like that. Trick-or-treating was always fun. I remember being super excited when like someone would give you the full-size jumbo candy bar, And so my parents caught on to that. So that's what my parents give out every year is they get the big jumbo size. So they like pay it back to the next generation, which is fun. Yeah, but no, I mean, I love it. It's a fun time of year, and yeah, I love the decor that goes into it. It's always exciting. So, like losing summer and coming out of summer always sucks. Like it's such a bummer. You're like, well, there goes the nice weather, and now we're going to the cold season. And I think when September rolls around in October and the leaves start to change, and you get to go pumpkin picking and cider, and football comes back, and pumpkin this, and it kind of makes the season fun. So I love the whole month in general.
All right, so we've come to the end of the interview. Carolyn Miller, thank you so much for your time. But right now, something special for all you Limeheads that are watching this. Carolyn is now going to be performing for us, and this is her song, Summertime.
Yeah. So this song came out last year, and I'm very grateful that CMT supported the music video, and it was added into rotation on Music Choice, the country music video channel, and the Country Network. Fun fact about it, it was shot in both New York and Nashville. So it was filmed all over Long Island. There's a lot of popular spots in Long Island that you'll probably pick up in the video. Jones Beach, All-American, and then Nashville as well. And fun fact, the guy playing my love interest in the video is my real life husband. So we were driving around in our personal pickup truck going to the places that, you know, we love going to. So it's on YouTube. Be sure to check it out. This is called Summertime.
Yellow lights may speed up, so we did. No trespassing sign, then come on in. Pushing every limit way over the line. I had my own James Dean with you by my side. It was golden hands, cover bands, dancing under bright lights, started fires, smoking ties, memories under moonlight. Only one thing on my mind, no coming out tonight. Whoa, whoa, we were on summertime. Oh yeah. Sunsets in your arms, we touched hands. Danger dancing on your lips was all I wanted to feel. September started creeping in the weird time. The more we needed, the harder it got. It was golden hands, rubber bands, dancing under bright lights, starting fires, smoking ties, memories under moonlight. Only one thing on my mind, no coming out tonight. Whoa, whoa, we were in summertime. Oh yeah. When the warm breeze blows and carries those sweet memories in. I wonder if you ever wonder about going back again. Whoa. Yeah, it was holding hands, cover bands, dancing under bright lights, starting fires, smoking ties, memories under moonlight. Only one thing on my mind, no coming out tonight. Whoa, whoa, we were on summertime. Oh yeah, we were on summertime. Oh yeah, we were on summertime.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So thank you
so
very
much.
much. Yeah. Thank you for taking time out. Thank you for the performance. Once again, this is Long Island Music and Entertainment with a very special guest, Carolyn Miller. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And fun fact, I'm actually nominated for Best Singer from Long Island for Best of Long Island Awards. So
Very
you
cool.
guys will all have to vote. Check that out, Best of LI. Yeah, so it's fun to just be reconnecting with the Long Island community, and I'm just so happy to be home and chatting with y'all.
I'm all